I get enough comments about your health and safety as it is. Someone said, oh, why doesn't he use goggles or the, and someone said he's too macho.
Shit. Yeah, that'll be the day. It was leaking water out the back of the exhaust pipe, which obviously donates head gasket. The engine has been rebuilt. You still see the cross hatching in the bores and stuff. There's no ridge on it. But none of these studs were done up, and they go into the water jacket. Basically it's just going to leak water, so I've taken them all out, cleaned all the threads out, cleaned all the studs up, and thread locked them all in. So now we've got a well seal, what they call well seal. It's like a jointing compound that doesn't set.
Okay.
So put that on each side of the gasket as well to give you a bit more strength or protection against leaking. Then you've got to put the cylinder head on with well seal on the cylinder head as well, and then put your 30 nuts and washers back on and work out the order to do them up. Basically get down in the bores and just wipe the tops of the pistons off. You're always going to be left with a little bit of water in them and stuff. It's just the way it is.
When people say the head gasket's gone,
Yeah.
what things do you look for that tell you that?
Water in your oil. You pull your dipstick, and if it's gone all milky and white,
Yeah.
you know you've got water leaking back down into the engine through the bottom, down past the rings. Obviously water coming out of the exhaust pipe, which sometimes can just be condensation, but this was like a lot.
Yeah.
Leaks off the side of it, are just general missing on one cylinder normally, or a couple of cylinders. So basically it's water leaking into a piston. Engine won't fire then because the spark's knocked out by the water. Blows water down the exhaust port, down out the exhaust pipe. That's the old head gasket. So you can't really see anything blowing by on that. If you turn it up the other way, that's been blowing there, see? That's been blowing there. Anywhere it's gone dark means the exhaust gases are getting in it.
Okay.
And if the exhaust gases are getting in it, then water's going the other way. So basically, if you get that so hot, it will warp, especially on an aluminium head, and then you have to send them off and have them skimmed. But we can tell by just putting that on there, look, you can't see any daylight between the rule. If there is anything there, it's under a thou, so that's not warped. So in general that's looking good, you know.
So that's your first tell, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean obviously that isn't accurate, but for a 1930s engine it's accurate enough, you know. And obviously you can get block warpage, but I mean you really got to cook one of these to bend the block. I think it was literally just so those studs were undone. So it doesn't matter how tight you torque it up, your torque wrench goes click, but if that's still turning in the bottom of the block, it's never going to work. I don't think I've got a paintbrush anymore, so I'll have to use my finger.
I get enough comments about your health and safety as it is. Someone said, oh, why doesn't he use goggles or the, and someone said he's too macho.
Yeah, that'll be the day. It's more compliant for older car engines, you know. Don't ever leave the tube not standing up because it goes everywhere. You don't need masses of it, just a coat. I mean, some people will let it go off slightly and then give it another coat, but we're looking pretty flat, aren't we? So should be good. That's had a good coating, so we'll throw that on. those little bits where they've lifted up, they'll all squish down, so that's okay. Yeah, quite often head gaskets don't fit very well, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Especially the old ones, because what it is, it's asbestos. It looks silver, but that's copper underneath, or metal. And then you've got your rollovers, so you've got asbestos layer in the middle, then metal. So they often get out of shape. Doesn't matter if you get any of this in the combustion chamber, it'll just burn off. I mean, this isn't... Some people just put grease on them, some people don't put anything on them. I'm just trying to give us as much
Fighting chances you can.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like a Mini, even though it's over a valve, I could probably change head gasket in an hour and a half. But, you know, something like a brand new Nissan, forget it. You've got to take half the freaking car apart just to get to it, you know. Back breaker! That's just the studs. The chances of the studs actually all being dead upright are because it's had helicoils to redo the threads and stuff. Like I say, the chances of them being all dead upright are pretty slim. So yeah, on some of the aluminium heads, like the Jags and that, you can buy a special tool that goes over that. It's a saw, and it'll cut down the side. Very thin saw, like a rotary saw. Wow. Because it's steel studs in aluminium, it reacts to each other. So you can get those and they just cut down the sides. Tappets. Right. Pull down the following nuts until just nipped. 15-pound torque in sequence. 14, 11, 8. 5, 2, 17. Right. Go back to 14 and pull down fairly tight. 40-pound foot torque in sequence. Pull down the nuts in the same order as 2. Okay. Right, so we wanted 15 pound, didn't we? That said. Pull down the following nuts until just nip. 14. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 14. 11. 8. Basically you're pulling the centre down first, that's what it's saying. Yeah. 5 and 2. And 17. Go back to 14 and pull down fairly tight. 40 pounds in this sequence. Right. Here again. Now we'll do it again. Oh, £55 now. Never feels like doing them up that tight. We've got to remember you're hanging on the end of a 2-foot bar, you know? So. Right. Hey Taylor. Right.
What's that white stuff you're putting on there?
It's called exhaust assembly paste. It's used to have old stuff called gum, and it was strands. It's basically an asbestos. Well, it's not asbestos. You can't get that anymore. But it just goes off hard and seals up exhaust. It take high temperatures, you know.
And the finger application, that is.
That's your best way. Right. Now, stupid fiddly jaw. Have a look where the butt nuts are. They're under there.
Of course. And the trick to doing these is.
There isn't. It's just annoying. The last one's number 4. That one. Right, let's fire her up. It's going to be noisy, Stuart.
Yeah. Next week on the workshop.
You know, a lot of older stuff, they're not like the tolerances on a modern bike. I mean, one of these, and some of the British wartime singles, I mean, you fill the bottom of the engine up with sand and they'll still run.
Really?
Oh yeah, they just keep going. They'll run terribly, but they will go.